سلامتی وجود مقدس حضرت صاحب الزمان صلوات خط بفرمایید. صلی الله محمد و آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. أياما معدودات، فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر، وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين، فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له، وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه، ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر، ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداع إذا دعان، فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. O you who have faith, prescribed for you is fasting as it was prescribed for those who were before you, so that you may be God-wary. That for known days, but should any of you be sick or on a journey, let it be a similar number of other days. Those who find it straining shall be liable to atonement by feeding a needy person. Should anyone do good of his own accord, that is better for him, and to fast is better for you, should you know. The month of Ramadan is one in which the Quran was sent down as guidance to mankind, with manifest proofs of guidance and the criterion. So let those of you who witness it fast in it, and as for someone who is sick or on a journey, let it be a similar number of other days. Allah desires ease for you, and He does not desire hardship for you, and so that you may complete the number and magnify Allah for guiding you, and that you may give thanks. When my servants ask you about me, tell them that I'm indeed nearmost. I answer the supplicant's call when he calls me, so let them respond to me, and let them have faith in me, so that they may fare rightly. Salawat. ای کسانی که ایمان آورده اید، روزه بر شما مقرر شده است، همان گونه که بر کسانی که پیش از شما بودند مقرر شده بود. باشد که پرهیزگاری کنید. روزه در روزهای معدودی بر شما مقرر شده است، ولی هر کس از شما بیمار یا در سفر باشد، به همان شماره تعدادی از روزهای دیگر را روزه بدارد و بر کسانی که روز طاقت فرساست کفاره است که خوراک دادن به بینوایی است. و هر کس به میل خود بیشتر نیکی کند، پس آن برای او بهتر است. و اگر بدانید روزه گرفتن برای شما بهتر است. ماه رمضان همان ماه است که در آن قرآن فرو فرستاده شده است، کتابی که مردم را راهبر و متضمن دلایل آشکار هدایت و میزان تشخیص حق از باطل است. پس هر کس از شما این ماه را درک کند باید آن را روزه بدارد و کسی که بیمار یا در سفر است باید به شماره آن تعدادی از روزهای دیگر را روزه بدارد. خدا برای شما آسانی می‌خواهد و برای شما دشواری نمی‌خواهد تا شماره مقرر را تکمیل کنید و خدا را به پاس آنکه رهنمونی‌تان کرده است به بزرگی بستایید و باشد که شکرگزاری کنید. و هرگاه بندگان من از تو درباره من بپرسند، بگو من نزدیکم و دعای دعا کننده را به هنگامی که مرا بخواند اجابت می کنم. پس آنان باید فرمان مرا گردن نهند و به من ایمان آورند، باشد که راه یابند. صلوات.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you so much. Dear brothers and sisters, it is with great honor for me to congratulate everyone on the upcoming month of Ramadan. The Moon Sighting Committee of Imam US has confirmed moon sightings throughout the US, and tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan. Congratulations on you all. برادران خواهران گرامی، کمیته های رویت ماه رو تایید کردم و فردا روز اول ماه مبارک رمضان است و همگی تبریک میگم. Now, sorry I was absent for a few Fridays. It is good to be back, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, thank you. Alhamdulillah. So first I'll have a few things to go over about the upcoming month of Ramadan. If we could please have those slides on this. Yep, next slide please. This was. So each night, starting from tomorrow, the mosque will be open every night. So there will be prayers, and there will also be Quran recitation starting 1 hour before the prayer time, with the hope that throughout Ramadan, people can hopefully finish the Quran in 1 month. Iftar, every day there will be just a minimum a potluck version of iftar on normal days. So the mosque is open. Brothers and sisters are very welcome to come here and to pray together and then have potluck dinner. But that will be for most days. We're not holding lectures. During the weekdays, we won't be having lectures. However, on Fridays and on Saturdays, we will be having lectures as well. And you can also sign up to sponsor any night of the month of the holy month of Ramadan you wish. You can sponsor food or the program. Quickly, I'll go over this in Farsi. مسجد در طول ماه رمضان هر روز باز هستش و شما میتونین برای اقامه نماز و صرف افطار همراه برادران خواهران مسلمون عزیزمون تشریف بیارین و شام افطار البته به صورت پاتلاک خواهد بود و عزیزان باید خودشون افطار بیارن. در روزهای معمولی البته ما سخنرانی خاصی نخواهیم داشت و بیشتر مسجد باز هست تا عزیزان اینجا گرد هم بیایند. جمعه ها و شنبه ها ما هر جمعه و شنبه قرار سخنرانی داشته باشیم و حضور شما قطعا این مجالس رو پربارتر میکنه. Next slide please. Yep. So again, next slide. I think. All right. I think that's the main thing. We will also be having programs for the nights of Qadr. So the nights of Qadr, which will be falling on a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. The potential nights of Qadr, I should say, not the nights of Qadr. The potential night of Qadr will fall either on Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, and we will be holding programs on each of those nights until the morning with iftar in the morning. So dear brothers and sisters can join us, and inshallah we will be having the typical acts that are suggested, like Dua Joshan Kabir, Dua Abu Hamza Somali, and other Quran recitations that are recommended. So we ask our brothers and sisters to come and join us in those acts. Importantly, if you can please go to the next slide. I think it's the next one, and again the next slide. So we will be needing help in organizing these events and organizing the mosque in general. So we do ask our dear brothers and sisters to please take a more active approach in the mosque. Without volunteers, this mosque cannot run, as this is a non-profit. Like, we need our dear volunteer brothers and sisters to help us. Please, and again, please, reach out to me or Brother Sina or Sister Lali if you have the time and if you are able to help, so we can get started on that. We desperately, this mosque which is the house of Imam Zaman, desperately needs your help. And so don't forget to do that, please. برادران خواهران گرامی، از شما درخواست شدید داریم از همگی که به این مسجد از وقت و زمان خودتون تا جایی که میتونین کمک بکنین. این مسجد برای اداره امورش تنها از والنتیرها و داوطلب‌ها استفاده میکنه و اگر افراد والنتیر نشن، داوطلب نشن، کارهای مسجد یکم روی زمین میمونه. پس بیایید به کمک همدیگه خونه امام زمان رو اونجوری که باید اداره بکنیم و شما اگر امکان داوطلب شدن دارید و میتونین کمک بکنین، لطفاً به بنده مراجعه بفرمایید تا در مورد این حرف بزنیم. Next slide. Finally, the most important part, donate. So you can sponsor any night in Ramadan, the nights of Qadr, the other nights, the Eid of Fitr. I'm not sure if it's already taken or not, but do note that the special nights will definitely be taken early. So please consider sponsoring any programs or just in general if you want to donate to the mosque for the whole month. Please consider donating. Jazakumullah khaira. And so finally, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Sheikh Jalil to the podium with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدي وحبيبي ونور قلبي أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. In the beginning, I would like to offer my congratulations and well wishes regarding the arrival of the month of Allah, the month of Ramadan. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that all of us are able to begin this month with fasting and see the end of it also with Eid al-Fitr, inshallah. May the Almighty Allah give us the tawfiq to do all the requirements and mustahabbat in this holy month, inshallah. Tonight, our topic in mind as we are preparing to start this holy month, starting from tomorrow, our topic tonight is the benefit of fasting in our life in this world. In other words, there is always misconception among us as Muslims. As many of us, whenever Islam asks us to do something, the perception is whatever Islam asks us to do, it only has to do with Yawm al-Qiyamah. Meaning, it has zero effect in my life in this world. Example, if you ask a Muslim, what is the benefit of you praying 5 times a day? One of the perception of a Muslim, so inshallah when I die, I go to Jannah. Now the question is, this 5 daily prayer that you do, does it have any impact on your daily life here before Yawm al-Qiyamah? The answer is absolutely yes. That this ibadah that we do, it has an impact in this world before Yawm al-Qiyamah. Hajj, when Allah asked me to go to Hajj, does it mean I only can reap the benefit after I die and go to Allah? Oh no, going to Hajj has a benefit in this universe before Yawm al-Qiyamah. The answer is definitely it does. Now, just to give you just one simple example about this a'mal that we do as a Muslims, before we go to talk about the fasting. For example, 5 daily prayers. Many of them people, we think salat is only to pray to Allah and that's it. Right? But Rasulullah tells you that definitely 5 daily prayers has a personal impact on you. What does he do? Rasulullah said in one hadith, لو كان على باب أحدكم نهر. If any one of you happen to have a river, pool, call it, right? يغتسل منها 5 مرات في اليوم. Where he goes to that pool or that river and swims or takes bath 5 times a day. فما عسى أن يبقى من درنه شيء. What any person who takes a shower 5 times a day, right? Would any dirt remain on his body? The Prophet said no. The companion said, no, Ya Rasulullah. I said, that's how 5 daily prayers do for you. 5 daily prayer, right? Not only it benefits your soul. Now, when you go to the wudu, you wash your face, your arms. All of this is what? Cleaning this body. And this has an impact on the soul as well. And that is the benefit here. Forget about Qiyamah. Forget about bringing you closer to Allah. That practically, that's the benefit of it. Now, you come to fasting. When Allah asks mu'mineen, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, kutiba alaykum as-siyam. We, Allah, prescribe fasting upon you. كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم. Before you think, you say, Ya Allah, why us? Ya Allah, why do we have to fast 5 times, the whole month? Allah said, let me tell you, it didn't start with you. People before you too, they used to fast. كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم. Then he said, لعلكم تتقون. Maybe when you fast, it brings you closer to Allah. It helps you to develop taqwa Allah, God fear. Good. With that said, the first thing I want to discuss is, what is the philosophy of fasting? Philosophy means what? Wisdom. Benefit. Like today, if I fast from dawn till sunset, what would Allah gain from it? If I don't fast, what would Allah lose out of it? And if there is nothing he gains or loses, what is the significance of Allah asking me, his servant, to refrain from eating and drinking from dawn till sunset? What's the significance of it? This answer comes from our 8th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi afdalu salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. One of his companions asked him, Ya ibn Rasulillah, why would Allah ask us to fast? What's the philosophy of it? Imam answered, Inna Allah shara'a lakum as-siyam لِيَسْتَوِي بِهِ بَيْنَ الْغَنِيِّ وَالْفَقِيرِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make it equal. Between whom? Between the poor and the rich. Allahu Akbar. That is the philosophy of fasting. That Allah, when He asks you and me to fast, the purpose of it is Allah wants 1 month in a year where the rich and the poor feels equal. How? Because throughout the year, a rich person doesn't know something called hunger. He has money, access to food. He or she can eat 10 times a day if he wants to, because you have the money. But the poor person cannot. Good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the wisdom is He made the month of Ramadan so that the poor and the rich together, they feel equality in that month. Whether I am rich or poor, Allah says you must refrain from that food. That's one. Number two, Imam Radha says also, one of the philosophy of it, so that way the rich person develop the sympathy of the poor person. How? Meaning what? If a person is rich, I never know what is called hunger. Right? Now, in the month of Ramadan, when I fast from dawn to sunset for 30 days or 29 days, after Ramadan, when a poor person approaches and says, I am hungry, then the rich person can relate to it. Why? Because he or she has fasted in the month of Ramadan. So what happens? They get the experience, so they can feel the hunger. So it's much easier when somebody comes and says, I'm hungry. It's easy to give because you have experienced yourself. But if that's assuming you never. And let me give you an example, brothers and sisters. Some other examples in this world. The people who were born and raised here in this country. And many of us can testify to this. Especially our children who are born here. They never experienced what is called hunger. They never experienced something called poverty. Right? Everything is there. They eat. They have something called dessert. They have something called what? Cake. Name it. Good. They don't value something called food. But once you take them to the poor area in the world, you take them back home in Africa or anywhere in the world where there's poverty, and they see people, how people respect food, how people cherish food because of poverty, then it's easy for them to thank you as a father or Allah because of what? Because of what they have in America. But when can they appreciate that? When they experience that poverty, which they never knew before. Then they realize what? No, I need to respect this food because there are other people somewhere who are struggling. The month of Ramadan, one of the hikmah, Allah made it wajib upon all, so that the rich people, when they taste hunger and thirst throughout the month after Ramadan, when somebody said, I'm hungry, they can relate because they were fasting too. That's one of the hikmah why Allah prescribed the fasting. Good. That's number one. Number two, as a Muslim, if I fast or not, what would the benefit come? What is my benefit if I fast in the month of Ramadan? What would Allah lose if I don't fast in the month of Ramadan? Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam gave us numerous of benefit of fasting. And Allah said in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرًا لَكُمْ. Say, let it be known to you that whether you like it or not, you fasting is better for you. But Ya Allah, why is it better for me? For me to be hungry all day long, thirsty all day long. What is the benefit? Ahlul Bayt tells you what are the benefits. That when you fast, what are the personal benefit, and what are the community benefit, and what are the what we call global benefit of the ummah as we fast. Number one, when we fast in the month of Ramadan, it's a time to leave bad habit and adopt the good habit. Throughout the year, it's very difficult for a person. I have some habit, I want to get rid of them. It's very difficult. But the month of Ramadan comes, it's much easier to do what? To adopt that good akhlaq, good habit, over the what? The bad habit that you're struggling with. How so? Give you an example. Now, some of us, we have a habit of, let's say, smoking. Right? I'm a smoker. I want to get rid of it. Right? But I can't. Why? Because it's easier. I can walk to the shop. I can see somebody smoking. Right? And I can get it to smoke easily. Good. In the month of Ramadan, can you do that? Of course not. Now, in the month of Ramadan, if I can learn from dawn till sunset not to touch cigarette, right, for the whole day, right, 12 hours, 15 hours, it's easier to continue if the willpower is strong and get rid of smoking because of Ramadan. That's why Rasulullah in the khutbah when he says, ألا ومن حسن خلقه في هذا الشهر كان له بذلك جوازا على الصراط. Because in this month it's much easier to get rid of those bad akhlaq compared to the other 11 months of the year. That's why in this month, one of the blessings of this month is it's easier to uproot all the bad akhlaq in this month compared to other months in the year. And that is one of the benefits of the month of Ramadan. That is the opportunity to do to assess myself and see what are the bad akhlaq that I have, what are the akhlaq I want to get rid of, and work on myself to get rid of them in the month of Ramadan. It's much easier compared to another month. And that's the benefit of this fasting. That's number one. Number two, month of Ramadan brings so much blessings. One of the first blessings, physically, is that it helps you to give your digestive system break. You know, we all work in the companies or homes or whatever work we do. There is something called holidays, right? Okay, there's a time you give a holiday for 1 month, for 3 weeks, we don't have to work, right? Now, Ramadan is a holiday for the for digestive system. The whole year we eat, we drink, and this poor digestive system have to do work every day, now, that night, every time. When do you give this digestive system a break so it can rest, to restore the power to continue the work that Allah assigned it to do for you as a human being? Ramadan is the breaking time of that digestive system. That month is the time that your body becomes what? So relaxed, and not only that, get the rest it needs. That's why after Ramadan, a person must become much healthier. Ramadan is much healthier. But because at that time, when you adopt that system of fasting, after Ramadan, every part of your body, organs, they become much stronger than before. And that is one of the benefits of fasting. The digestive system gets break. Other organs, they get break in the month of Ramadan. And that helps them to restore their power so they can work more after Ramadan. That's number two of the benefit of the fasting. That's number two. Number three, month of Ramadan teaches us something called willpower. Willpower is very important in our lives. And sometimes it's very difficult to develop this called willpower. Man, what does it mean, willpower? Willpower is I develop a strong mindset where I can make a decision to do something or not to do and follow through. That's called willpower. I made a decision. I'm going to do ABC, right? I follow through and get it done, that comes from the willpower. The month of Ramadan, strengthen that willpower that you have. How? You look in the month of Ramadan. Allah tells you, you are not allowed to eat or drink during the whole month of Ramadan. Good. I go to the bathroom. Nobody watches except Allah. I can drink the water in the bathroom. Nobody sees me. I live alone. I can drink it if I want to. All right? But something is telling you, no, you can't do that. Even though nobody's watching, right? You're alone. You can do it and walk out as nothing happened, right? You can if you want to. That's between you and Allah. But something in your heart tells you, no, you can't do that. And what do? You follow through. Even though you're thirsty, you walk away from that water. In the month of Ramadan, a time comes, you're so hungry. You look in your fridge, there are all kind of food. You can eat it. You know that. And nobody can see you except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you tell yourself, no. You hold on to it. You stay away from it until the sunset. That behavior, what does it do? It strengthens your willpower, where you have a power to say no and follow through it. When you see yourself, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, but I still have a willpower which controls my heart and tells the heart no and follow through. The month of Ramadan, strengthen that willpower of yours. That is one of the benefit of what? Of the fasting of the month of Ramadan. Strengthen of your willpower. That is number 3. Number 4. Month of Ramadan, what it does to you or me as a Muslim, it also builds you and makes you a very strong person. And when I mean strong person, meaning physically and emotionally. The month of Ramadan, that's what he does. What it does to you, your body, is that when you fast in that month, right, slowly you see you become very strong. Look in this nature. Look in the nature. There are 2 types of trees. One tree, the one that grows in the area where there's no water and no rain. And another tree which grows next to the river. Always there's a river next to it. Which one of the 2 is stronger than the other? The tree that is next to the river, get water all the time, or the one that stands in the desert and doesn't get water as much? Definitely the tree. And you see in America, right, some trees that are get close to the river, water, a small slight wind, you see that they fall on the street, they're gone. Why? Because they get too much water. But the one that stands in the desert, because it doesn't get, so it was much stronger. A mu'min who stays away from water and drink or food, what it does, it makes the body much stronger. And from this point, brothers and sisters, when you look the narration that we have regarding the companions of Imam al-Zaman, the 313, and to myself and all of us, just check some of their qualities, some of their attributes that are mentioned in Ahadith. Now, what did they do? These are the leaders who Imam will make them leaders of others. 313. Good. Question. What made them to become that distinguished among all of us? One of the ahadith that was very clear about their quality, they said that their lips are always dry. The lips are always dry. Now, question, why the lips are dry? It says, min kathrat as-siyami wa dhikrillah. Always their lips are dry Because of fasting. And two, they always in remembrance of Allah. Now, because they fast, what happened? It helps them to become much stronger, where they are now qualified to be what? The leaders of the wars Imam al-Zaman will use in his army. That is one of the benefits of fasting. It makes you much stronger. Islam didn't prescribe fasting for no reason. Islam didn't recommend us to fast and every month, 13th, 14th, 15th, or the end of the month, if you can. Because it makes you much stronger. That is another blessing of fasting. Another one. And this is not from Muslims. And you can check this. And this happened from University of California. That a research was done as to what is the best way to a man or a woman or a person in general to strengthen your immune system. What is the way, the best way to strengthen your immune system? And there's many ways to do it though. Number one, you take a lot of vitamin C's, okay? That's one of the way. Another way is what? Exercise, of course. Good. But of all these, what is the strongest and the best way to strengthen your immune system as a human being? They said fasting consecutive 3 days at least. Allahu Akbar. When you are able to fast 3 days, like we do as a Muslim, you fast from dawn to sunset, and then you fast again for 3 days, they say automatically your immune system becomes at the peak and the very stronger. It's not from the Muslim. This is from people who are just making the research, and they found this what Allah told you and I to do. And imagine, they say for 3 days. Now, what happens if you go for 30 days or 29 days? That's why Rasulullah tells you, Sumu tasuhu. Meaning what? Fast and you will be healthier. Allahu Akbar. This is one of the benefits of fasting. Not only that, you come to hadith of the Prophet, also tells us, and this Imam Ali alayhi afdalu salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He tells us in hadith, Al-Batnatu Baytu Da. Al-Batna, a button. Right? I say your stomach is the home of all diseases. Most of our disease that we have as a human being, where does it come from? From your stomach. Al-Batnatu Baytu Da. Good. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, this Baytu Da, how do you protect it? It says, وَالْحِمْيَةُ رَأْسُ كُلِّ دَوَاءٍ. This stomach is coming from what? The food we put in it. How do I protect this disease from happening? They say, Al-Himya, protection. How do you protect it? By watching the way I eat and how I eat and how I drink. That the way that, especially when it comes to fasting, it helps you and I to develop that that healthy habit. And Ramadan comes to schedule that for you and I. That in the month of Ramadan, when we fast, we much more become much healthier than ever before. And that is what? The benefit of fasting. Good. Now, what are the benefits of fasting spiritually? When we fast, what's the benefit? There are many benefits of fasting. One of the benefits of fasting, which Quran mentioned, is that as a month of Ramadan, it's like you are invited into the camp of Allah. Allah invited you in the camp, and He wants to give you something called crash course. After that course, you must gain a certificate before you leave it. You walk into that course and you're called mu'min. By the time you finish, you have to gain another certificate called muttaqi. That's why the ayah when it started says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. Ya mu'min, when you come in the month of Ramadan, by the time you leave, كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Taqwa is higher than the iman. One of the fastest way to move from mu'min to muttaqi is fasting. Because fasting, what it does, it brings you closer to Allah. How? Because fasting, what it does, it strips you. It cuts all of this attachment to these things and connect you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm attached to food. I'm attached to water. I'm attached to certain things. Ramadan, what it does, it cuts all this attachment to it and connect you to what? With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one of the spiritual benefits. That's why the Quran says, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. The month of Ramadan fasting is what brings you closer. That's why it is mentioned that Nabi Allah Dawood alayhi salam, once he came to know the benefit of fasting, half of his life was fasting. Half of his life was fasting. From the moment Allah spoke to him and he realized, he started to do what? He will fast one day and break the other day. And then the next day fast. That's how he did for the rest of his life. Your Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. He was the same thing. Fasting was absolutely sunnah of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Not just him, also his family as well. Because fasting brings you closer to Allah. And that is why it's one of the spiritual gain as quick as possible. That is number 2. Number 3. Fasting spiritually have more blessings. If you and I want to gain something from Allah, you want to get something from Allah quicker. I have a haja, a need from Allah. What are the best way to get from Allah? Now, when we ask Allah something, Allah can accept or may not accept for whatever reason. But what is the quicker way that if I talk to Allah and I ask Him, He will grant me? One of the ways is called nadhar. What does it mean? Nadhar means what? To vow to Allah that, Ya Allah, if you do ABC, I will return upon you by doing this and that. One of the way to do it is fasting. That if you tell Allah, Ya Allah, I have a job interview and I want to get that job so bad. Ya Allah, if you help me to get the job, I will fast 3 days. That nadhar puts your haja ahead and will be granted as quick as possible. Why? How do we know that? From Nas, from the Quran, from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. I have a brother, a sister, somebody dear to my heart. They're sick and I want them to feel better. I want them to recover. How do I get to Allah so that Allah can listen to me and grant them the fastest recovery? Fasting can be that. And the reason is when we go to Surah Al-Dahr, when Imam Ali alayhi salam and his family, especially Imam al-Hasan and Hussein, when they were sick and they want Allah to grant them fast shifa, what did they do? Fasting was what they did. And through that, Allah answered their dua and gave their 2 sons the fastest record. Fasting is one of the best way to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Him so He can grant you something. That is one of the benefits of fasting. Now, another one. It is mentioned that Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specified one special entrance to Jannah. And that entrance is called Rayyan. That entrance is called Rayyan, and nobody ever will enter through that door except people who fasted during the month of Ramadan. No, it's like, just to give us example, you know, when we travel and you are to enter plane, right? First class, they have a small carpet they walk on, right? But when you get to Ayuhan Nas, economic, what is that? What do they do? Now you all enter into the same gate, right? But what the difference is, there is a carpet they put for whom? For first class, right? Good. But if you don't have, you go to other part, right? That's to show you the difference between them and you. The hadith says, Yawmul Qiyamah, we're all going to go to Jannah, inshallah. But the entrance are not the same. One entrance, Allah specified. It says, La yadkhuluha illa sa'imun. Allah said, nobody will enter that door except those who are fasters. People who fasted in this world, Yawmul Qiyamah, Allah said, we get them down. And that is one of the spiritual benefit of fasting. Not only that, what are the benefits of fasting? Benefit of fasting also, what it does, it also brings family together. Ramadan and fasting, it's one of the blessed months. Now, you look at many families during the other month. For example, the father goes to work, the mother goes to work. Yes, I'm busy, I'll eat at work, and then I'll do this, right? But in the month of Ramadan, what do? We try as a family to do what? To do suhoor together and also do iftar together. It's the month of what? Coming together as a family. Throughout the year, we're all busy, attached to many things in this world, in this life, which is okay. But in the month of Ramadan, it helps us to shape our schedule better. So as a family, we get together much more. And it brings you closer to your family as a family. And that is one of the spiritual benefits of fasting. Another one. The month of Ramadan brings you closer to the Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. Now, many of us, our relationship with the Quran, right, throughout the year is the first. Right? Many of the time, when somebody dies, yes, inshallah, there's khatam. We open the Quran, we read it. After the khatam, sadaqallahu al-azim. Now, what month is what Muslims remember the most to become friend of Quran the most? The month of Ramadan. Now today when you go to many masajids, right? Throughout the year, maybe we might not read Quran on a weekly basis. Or we may read it when we start our programs. But other than that, that's it. In the month of Ramadan, we make an effort to at least read one juz every night so we can become closer to Quran. And remember, being friend of Quran is very important for many levels of reasons. Number one, the Prophet tells you, I didn't leave behind except two things. إِنِّي تَارِكٌ فِيكُمُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَإِتْرَتِي. I'm leaving two things for you. One is Quran in Ahlul Bayt. And second importance of Quran is that the night of our burial, one of the questions we have to answer, Ma kitabuk. What is your book? We say what? Al-Qur'anu kitabi. Quran is my book. But how do you strengthen that Quran, that bond between you and the Quran? Month of Ramadan brings you closer to that book. Well, not only I read it, in many places in the month of Ramadan, what do? We hear more tafsir of Quran. Well, what do? We even have more closer to Quran than any other month throughout the year. Which that means month of Ramadan brings you closer to the book of Allah than any other month. That is another spiritual benefit. Another one. In the month of Ramadan is the month that many of us, we remember more our duties than any other month. You know, many of us who have salat that we haven't prayed when we were younger, Qada Umri, when we remember most? The month of Ramadan. Special Ayam Laylatul Qadr. That's when we want to pray more of this salah to cover what we missed. Now, throughout the year, we're supposed to be doing it too, right? But in the month of Ramadan, it becomes much more opportunity for us so we can pray more to bring the gap much closer. What that means, the month of Ramadan bring us closer to our responsibility. Bring us closer to learn to make sure that our responsibility that is left, we should do it and do it the best we can. That is also one of the benefit or spiritual benefit of this month of Ramadan. Another benefit, spiritual benefit in the month of Ramadan is the month that you feel much obliged to help and support than any other month. Now we know for sure, as a Muslim, I supposed to help and support in every month, every day. Good. But in the month of Ramadan, I feel more closer to help than any other month. Many Muslims are more to give and support and help needies in the month of Ramadan, more than any other month. Because that month softens your heart and you feel that, yes, I should do this. Yes, I should listen. Yes, I should help. Yes, I should give in the month of Ramadan. More than any other month. What that means, the month of Ramadan helps you to learn to know what to give and how to give in the month of Ramadan. And all of these come from where? From the month of Ramadan. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. As the Prophet said in his khutbah, Fas'alullah. He said one of the things you should ask Allah in the month of Ramadan. An yuwaffiqakum lisiyami. Ask Allah, Ya Allah, give me the tawfiq to fast. Pray to Allah. Because just because you live to see Ramadan doesn't mean you're going to be able to fast. Just because you saw the first day of Ramadan doesn't mean that you're going to see the end of it. Anything can happen between these days, right? So ask Allah, an yuwaffiqakum lisiyami wa tilawati kitabi. And ask Allah to give you the time, the opportunity, so you can read the book of Allah in this month. Ask Allah in this month to bring you closer, so all the wajibat and mustahabat is done in this month. Because remember, Rasulullah says, Ala wa inna shaqi man hurima ghufran Allah fi hadha shahr. The Prophet said, do you want to know a shaqi, the person who is unlucky? Do you want to know somebody who is unlucky person in the eyes of Allah or the Prophet? They say yes. Who is it? He said the person who is deprived from the forgiveness of Allah in this month. He lived to see the Ramadan. He saw it. He lived it. And Ramadan started with him and end. And he or she is not being forgiven. The Prophet said he is the most unlucky person. Ya Allah, don't make us unlucky people in this month. Ya Allah, we ask you, give us the tawfiq to fast the whole month and be among those who will be accepted, inshaAllah. Bin Nabi wa Ali Muhammad, sallu ala Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلهي أزم البلاء وبرح الغفا وانكشف الغطاء وانقطع الرجا وزاقت الأرض ومنعت السماء وأنت المستعان وإليك المشتكى وإليك المؤول في شدة والرخاء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين فرضت علينا طاعتهم وعرفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا قربهم بسا أو هو أقرب. يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران. يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 الساعة الساعة الأجل الساعة الأجل الأجل الأجل. يا أرحم الراحمين بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين.
صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا فاطمة. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد الحسن. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا مولاي زين العابدين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على محمد بن علي الباقر ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على جعفر بن محمد الصادق ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على موسى بن جعفر الكاظم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على علي بن موسى الرضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على محمد بن علي الجواد ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على علي بن محمد الهادي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على الحسن بن علي العسكري ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. والفاتحة تسبقها صلاة على محمد وآل محمد.